My name is Dianne Connelly. I've been coming up to the farm for over 25 years. I've been doing gourds exactly that long. It started with a little class that I took at the community college on how to weave pine needles on the rims. Fell in love with it 25 years ago and haven't stopped. So typically I will teach up here at the Gourd farm. You can always check online when classes are being offered. I see a lot of familiar faces. Welcome everybody. It's kind of nice. Welcome to the newbies. Welcome to those that are just starting. Today's not a class. Today is a demonstration on a Luminaria technique. You could call it a Gourd lamp. You can call it a Gourd light, Luminaria. In any case, there are light fixtures within the gourds that when you create these openings, be it a hole or a filigree as down below, the light will project out. Particularly when the room is very dark, you will see the actual patterns. In this case, the snowflake, these large holes, they will reflect on your light, so they're really pretty in a very dark room. Today's techniques that we're going to do will be the Christmas one, which is a snowflake, and then time will probably allow as well. I'm going to try and get two for the price of one. We're going to do the large bore, the large cutout, okay? And I will also show you the dyeing technique for those of you who aren't familiar. Is anybody brand new, never did a gourd before, ever? Oh my goodness. Welcome, welcome. This is quite exciting. This is where the addiction starts. So you better tell your husbands goodbye, give them a kiss, say I'll see you in a few weeks because I'm in the garage and I'm going to start my crafting.
It's a disease.
It is. Anybody in here will tell you. Once you get started, it's almost impossible to stop. Particularly now, because in the olden days, I used to buy the gourds, and they're in the bin. They're all covered in mud. You have to scrub the outside, cut them open, scrape the inside, and whatnot. Now, they sell them washed, cut, and cleaned, and ready to go. And to me, that is priceless, because it makes it so much more enjoyable that you don't have to do all that labor ahead of time. If you've never done it before and you're just getting started, I think it's an excellent idea to try it so that you can see what the process is on cleaning them outside and inside. And then I promise you, you'll be buying the wash, cut, and clean. After about 5 or 6 of them, you're going to say to yourself, okay, this is well worth it. Okay? So we're going to start, I'll start with the Christmas gourd. These are the packages that they have available, washed, cut, and cleaned, for the Luminaria. In the bottom, there's a 2.5-inch hole that allows for the light fixture, which is here, to be inserted. It's drilled to fit exactly. This is the plug. It has the manual switch that can turn it on and off. And now, thanks to Danny and Robert, they found them in LED lights. So you can't I can't even tell you for how many weeks I looked online for the LED lights, and I was thrilled to death that they finally found them here. He had them custom made, the smaller ones particularly. This is the large one, the LED lamp that goes into the socket for the larger gourds, and then there's a smaller one, which it's kind of interesting when you feel it. It feels like rubber. It doesn't feel like glass. It's almost like a rubber. And that's for the smaller ones. I have the smaller ones. They project quite a bit of light, 3 times more than the little light bulbs that originally we were going to use. The nice part is these create heat. Heat creates fire, so you have to be very careful. If you opt to do that on your own, I would suggest going with an LED light. They do not heat up, and they're safe. You can leave them on for hours. The nice part is these will be here when we're gone because they get about 500,000 hours of light time, okay? And they have them in both sizes.
And they sell those kits.
They're selling the kits here, and you have your choice at the time that you buy it if you want the smaller or the larger lamp that goes in there. So, and this is, I don't know the price. They just got them in this week, and they're just starting to sell, and I imagine within the next week or two they're going to be flying off the shelves because everybody likes the luminarias, the gourd lamps. It's the up-and-coming thing now within the gourd world. So I had fun. They had sent me 5 gourds and said, come up with an idea for class for the demonstration and see how the people enjoy it. So I of course, always take it to the extreme. Nothing I do is ever normal. I did the Christmas ones, one red, one green. This one has a poinsettia that's gold leafed. And I used the stick and burn pattern. So you just cut it out, put it on the front of the gourd, and you wood burn it right onto the gourd. Those of you that are experts, bear with me because there are a lot of new people that aren't even familiar with stick and burn. So I'm going to start with the basics so that everybody gets a full understanding of the process, okay? So I cut out one of the stick and burns. There's like 20 different styles in this Christmas package. I put it on the front, and then I gold leafed it, which is nothing other than the heat-sensitive glue. And you heat the glue, and then you stick the gold leaf on it, and voila, you have a beautiful poinsettia without painting it. All of 5 minutes. Okay, so I did a red one, I did a green one, and then I didn't want to forget the Hanukkah people, so I did a blue one. This guy I did utilizing a new drill bit I just got. Welburns will probably have it within the next week or so. When you see it, I promise you, you're going to love it. Nobody knows about it. Nobody's using it in the gourd world, so everybody that sees this online is going to be like, oh my God, where did she get that? I want to really try that. When you see how simple it is to do, you'll see what I'm talking about. The gourds down below, I'm not sure if everybody can see them, but most of them are done with filigree carving. This big black one on the end over here, that's about 12, 14 hours worth of carving on it. It's gorgeous when it's lit up though. I did a little one out of a Canteen, and then I did a variety of others. When you see the luminarias online, for the most part, you'll see the ones that have all the beads in it lit up. Most of those are people from Russia that are doing them, and they're like $700, $800, $900 if you tried to buy one. Promise you, you can make yours for under $40, okay? And you can turn around and sell it for 4 times that price if you were interested. I did one, there's a turquoise one with beads. You can see all the beadwork on there. That was a bear to do because I had to be perfect with all the inlay. All the beads are inlaid. Nothing is glued on the gourd. They're all drilled out and inlaid into the holes. The fun part about that gourd is when you look at it, the beads look like they're turquoise, almost like a blue. When you turn the light on, if it's kind of bright in the room, they turn white. And when you turn the light off in your room, it is incredible the amount of light that's projected through every bead. Even these teeny weeny seed beads that are in here, and I mean they're itty bitty, the light comes out those holes. So they're really beautiful. It's a little bit of time consuming to do, but it's well worth the finished product when you're done because it's such a unique finish on it. Okay, so I just wanted to give you a basic rundown of the techniques that I did, and your options are unlimited. You don't have to do holes. You don't have to do big chunky circles. You can do filigree. You can come up with your own design, your own pattern specific to you. Now that it's November, Christmas is almost here, I made a lot of these for my neighbors. For a very inexpensive price, you get a beautiful gourd you can give to your neighbors, to your kid's teacher at school. I'm doing them for my bingo buddies as well. They have pre-packaged boxes. They also have them individually for sale. They go from the small to the medium. This is a medium, and there are even some mediums that are even bigger than this. So, depending on what you want to make, choose your size accordingly. So we're going to start with the snowflake pattern first, okay? One thing I'm going to tell you up front for those type A personalities, I do not measure anything. Most of the time, I don't even draw it on there. I freehand. Where it takes me, I'm going to go. For every boo-boo and mistake I make, I can make it 10 times prettier than I originally planned because I have to fix the mistake. So don't ever think, oh, I messed it up, I need to start again. Find a way to work it in. On these, I went out of line. I made these itty-bitty tiny snowflakes that you'll be able to see. They're so pretty. It was because I skidded off the gourd and I had to make more holes. So let your mistakes be your learning process. What I will do on this one, maybe I can move these out of the way so that you can see what I'm doing. I'll just set them right here. Thank you. Can everybody see this gourd? Now bear with me because I'm going to be doing this backwards because I'm trying to do it to show you. Typically I'm looking at it like this, and you'll find me do that often. I will turn it around, I promise you, once I get it on there. What I'll do is whenever I do any kind of artwork on a gourd, I always choose my front and center, so I always know where I'm working. That's where I want it to be the prettiest. I don't care if my boo-boos are in the back, but I want the front to be really pretty. So this is front and center to me right here. And I'll leave that cross on there so I always have a point of reference. This pencil's sharper. For the snowflake, all I'm going to do is a cross. It's going to be a big one. I'm going to do one to match in the back. I'm going to do another big one on the sides. So all I have are 4 plus signs on my gourd. Most of the time, once I get the holes on there, I want it bigger, I'll just add a few more holes. If it's crooked, nobody's going to see it. Your brain wants to see a straight snowflake. You don't know that I drew that perfectly. Don't even worry about it. The key to it, the luminarias or any gourd art that you're going to be doing, are your tools. It is critical that you have the right tools. I used to teach the beginning gourd class here on what to buy and what not to buy, because I spent thousands on drills, on carvers, on wood burners that I never used again. I'm down to 1 wood burner, 1 carver, 1 Dremel. The Gourdmaster one I like, mostly because I've had mine now for 9 years and it's still going strong. When you see it on, listen to it. Those of you that try and do this with a Dremel, or a Dremel flex shaft, I promise you, you'll be doing this. You use your whole hand to try and hold it. The other problem with that is you can't even see where you're going because you're holding it so tight and your fist is so thick you can't even see where you're putting the pattern. So I would suggest if you do plan on doing this for a long period of time, or as a business, which is what I do now, which I never planned on doing originally, buy 1 piece of equipment, 1 good carver, and it will last you, if you take care of it, a lifetime. Okay? So the nice part is to change your bit, unlike a Dremel, all you do is twist. Your drill bit comes out. Okay? I'm going to start with, these are brad point drill bits. Can everybody see that drill bit I just put in? If you look at the very tip of the bit, there's a point. I have regular drill bits. The problem with those are they skid. You put it on the gourd and you'll see chunk, 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 because you can't get it to start. This point holds its position from the time you start carving with it all the way through to the hole. I just found out about these about 3 or 4 weeks ago. So of course I went and bought a whole set of them because I love variety. Dremel makes these, but there's only 4 sizes. So you're limited to these sizes. If you're using a variety of beads for inlay, you need more than 4 sizes. So I went online to Amazon and I bought the whole set. Very inexpensive, $25. You have 35 drill bits. They're wonderful. But the downside is you cannot put these in here. You have to, oh, I didn't bring my big drill, my hand drill. You have to put them in a Black & Decker hand drill. You can do it, but it's a heavy drill and it takes a little more time, which I'm willing to do when I'm looking to do a specific piece. But these 4, for the most part, in your little handheld carver are a godsend. Okay? I did the 4 lines, the 4 crosses. I'm going to start with the large bit first. Now note, there is no right or no wrong. It's whatever pleases you. So I'm going to go for what I just did, just so I can demonstrate what I did, but you can do any way you want. I'm going to turn it on, and it's on high. Now, hopefully you can hear me speak while the drill is on. Can you still hear me? Okay. This is a little bit bigger of a bit, so it has a louder vibration. The smaller bits don't vibrate as loud, but they still work just as fine. I'm going to have to turn the gourd toward me so I can obviously see what I'm doing. I'm going to place it in the middle of the cross. I made 1 hole. So to do the snowflakes, I did 7 holes. 1 in the middle, 3 above, and 3 below, so that I have a center point. So that's my center point. Now I'm going to do the 3 above. I'm going to do 3 below. Can you see that? Can you see it when it's facing me? Oh, good. Okay. So now I'm going to do 3 to the side. Do you see how nice that goes in? It's because of that little point that's on the end. If you used your regular drill, it would work, but you're going to be skidding unless you hold it really tight. And it's a heavy drill. I've done it. It works. I've done it for years. I'll never use anything but these again. Okay, I'm going to go to the back, and I'm going to do the large snowflake on the back again. 1 in the middle, and 3 above, 3 below, 3 to the side, off the 4th hole. So I'm going to leave the 3 above, 3 below, and draw my center line from that 4th hole down. This way it's in the middle. Okay? 1. I'm going to repeat that in 2 more places. Now I put the cross there, but I don't want it there, so I'm going to do it here. I didn't measure. I'm terrible. I don't like to measure. I'm going to do here, 3 above, 'kay. What I will say, I'm not wearing a mask because I'm trying to speak, and you won't be able to understand me with my mask on, but I always wear a mask at home. I had the good fortune of working in a hospital for 40 years, so I have a lifetime supply of the super good mask. You can buy those over the counter at Home Goods, at Home Depot and those places. You can buy a good respirator, which is permanent, and you just replace the filters. I always use that when I'm painting, particularly when I'm painting because I don't want to breathe those fumes. So I look, if my neighbors ever saw me in my yard, I'll usually clean 20 gourds and then spray 20 inside, go through a couple cans of paint, and I'll have my respirator on the whole time because those fumes are terrible. They're really terrible. So now we have the large holes in 4 places on the gourd. So this is my design. Again, could do anything you want. I don't waste a whole lot of time worrying about it. I'm going to go to 2 sizes down of these 4. There's 4 of these in the package. I should have kept the package on the counter. There's an extra large, a large, a medium, and a small. Extra large, large, medium, and small. There's 4 in the pack. They sell them here, yeah. And they're actually, I already checked, $1.10 cheaper than Home Depot. If I can save a dime anywhere, I will do that. So I'm going to go to this guy. I already burned him up because I was using him incorrectly, so I'm hoping he's not going to smoke. If they smoke, it's no big deal. I just don't like to breathe it. We'll see. So I made the cross, so what I want to do now, I'll put the other 4 points of the snowflake in. 1, 2, 3. Now that looks too short, so I'm going to put a 4th one in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Voila, you have a snowflake. Can you see that? No brainer. Now I do one thing when I'm all done, and I'll go back and show you. So I'm going to put the 4 little arms on the snowflakes on the other 3 that I drew real quick. Can you see how fast that carves? Do you know how long you would be here if you had a Black & Decker and a regular drill bit? This is so worth it. Save your money, get one nice piece of equipment. Did you notice how precise I am? Notice how carefully I measured? No need to. Now, I just put an extra row in that didn't belong. Guess what? I'm going to do it on the one above it, too. It's adorable. There's a boo-boo. I was talking, I wasn't paying attention. Look, you can't tell the difference. Look how cute that snowflake. I'm going to do that intentionally. Okay, my worst mistakes are some of the best learning techniques I've come up with. And you can always tell your friends, no two snowflakes are the same. So he's sending one more. Okay, so now we have the 4 large snowflakes. With the same drill bit that I did the smaller, I'm going to do more snowflakes with this and go down a size for the little forearms. So you'll see what I'm saying in just a minute. Once I'm going to pick some blank spots on the gourd. I'll do one here. And I'm only going to do 5 holes because I want this one to be smaller than the big ones, okay? I always do an odd number so that I have a center dot, some above and some below. So it actually looks like it, because if you did just 4 even ones, it wouldn't look like a snowflake. It would be even all the way around. It would look like a bunch of holes. So I did 5 down and just 3 across. I'm going to find another hole here. 1 in the center, 2 above, 2 below, 2 across. Okay, another one. I should do 3 holes. Now I like it like that. Sometimes I'll just look at it and just won't be what I want. This one I'm making bigger because it's a bigger area. Now, of course, I just said to you, make them odd numbers, not even. I just did that even, but what I did was when I went back and put the row across, I went in between the 2 dots so it looks centered. So now I have 4 smaller snowflakes, right? The big one we used, the first ones we used the extra large with the second from the large. Now I'm going to go to the smallest drill bit. Actually, I'm going to go even smaller, and I'll tell you why. Because I love these. Okay? These are PCB drill bits. They're going to be having them here at the farm very shortly. It wasn't until we started talking about what we wanted to demonstrate with did we realize I had an easier way than most gourd artists do. Again, I'm going to say this 100 times. There's no right or wrong. Every artist has a way that they prefer to do it. I always look for easier, especially on my wrist. After 40 years of pulling people in a trauma unit on and off gurneys, my wrists are shot. So if there's a way that's gentler on my hands, I'm going to find it. These are incredibly nice. They have a band on them. See those colored bands? Serves 2 purposes. 1, it has the size on it. And 2, it's to tell you don't go further than the band. Because if you try and push all the way into this band, you're going to chunk a gigantic hole out of your gourd. So it's your stop. I always stop well before I get near that band because in the beginning, when I first learned how to do it, I chunked holes like this crazy. And then you got to come up with a whole new, oh, I meant that chunky hole to be there, you know? So I'm going to take, since these brad points that I was using only have these 4 sizes, the large, extra large, large, medium, and small, I want smaller than the small to go in here. So I'm going to pick one of these little guys. No right or wrong size. Once they start carrying them here, there's 10 in a pack, and they're very, very affordable. Okay, the key is you have to know the sizes. And you won't know that until you see the package. So when you see them, you'll know what you prefer to have. Me, I have to have them all. I have a disease that will never go away with gourds. I have to have them all. Okay, I use them all. So if you're a hobby person that's just doing it here and here, you get 1 pack. But if it's something you really want to do to have the selection, you buy more than 1 pack. whatever pleases you. So I got this, I believe is a 0.625. I've used them so much that the sizes have worn off, so I can't even tell you for sure. But I'm going to go to the small snowflakes that we just put on with the super small hole. So look how sweet that is. You barely touch the gourd. And I'm making these bigger than the holes there, longer. See it? Here we go again. When I do this at home and I'm not speaking, I can do this in 15 minutes, the whole gourd. So if you have the right tools, again, I can't stress enough. Okay, so now we have the extra large with the medium hole. We have the small with the extra small hole. I'm going to make 4 more snowflakes. You can do this as many times as you want. But the next 4, I'm going to use this small one, and then I'm going to go down to even a tiny hole. But they look so sweet. Okay, remember, if you're not talking, this will be 15 minutes. Okay, and I'm going to fill in these spots here. I'm going to do one up here. I'm going to do one over here. Oh, that's the front. I don't want it there. I'll do one here. Off center. I don't ever make it symmetrical. Always make it off, just like me. I did 5 and 3. Again, there's no right count. Whatever, however big you want to make it. You might want your snowflakes bigger, make them 11 and 5. It doesn't matter. It's whatever you like. I'm going to put one here. And I think maybe one here, and that's it. Okay, so I got that. Now I'm going to go down to the tiniest. Just remember one thing when you make your snowflakes. You want 2 sizes, a big one and a smaller one. Doesn't matter which size drill bits you use. Okay? So now we're going to go in the 4 that we did with the tiny, with the extra tiny. I don't know number-wise. I think this was a 0.625. This must be a 0.25. Don't count me. Don't believe that for solemn truth because, like I said, the sizes are worn off. But if you have a variety, just pick one smaller than the one you use. So here we go. This is so pretty. For those type A people, measure it, draw it, put where your dots go. Have fun with it. I would make the worst quilter in the world because I just refuse to measure. Okay, oh, here's one. Oh, one thing you want to make sure that you do go all the way through the gourd because if you don't go all the way through, the light's not going to be able to come through from the inside to the out. Okay? So, I have 3 different sizes. You can even go tinier with this if you wanted to because the more holes that you put in, the more light's going to be projected out. So I'm going to do one itty bitty one front and center here. There. And then I'm going to go even smaller than this. But do you see how gentle? Do you see how you hear how light a touch it is? And it's boom, 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 boom. There's no, as long as you don't go past where the threads stop. Can you see? I can't see. It's threaded. And then there's a solid area here before the band. Do not go past the threads. What you want to do, if you're making a hole, go partly in and come out and then go the rest in again. Because once you remove some of the meat, you can go deeper into the gourd with that bit. But if you try and push the whole thing in, you're going to end up getting to the band and it's going to chunk it and it'll take a big piece out. Then you have to make a bigger snowflake. That's all. Fix your boo-boos. Does you make a bigger snowflake, that's all. So now I want the ittiest bittiest one I have, which is like a jewelry drill bit. This is a .43. This one still has its, I very rarely use these. These are more delicate. You have to be careful with these because they're a lot more fragile. But you can see I actually wore it off. I've used it so much. And if you're just careful with your tools, they'll last you a long time. This is so pretty. Can you see it? Look how cute that is. Okay, so we're all done with the carving. I didn't do a time test. I should have kind of kept track on how long it took. Maybe 20 minutes. I'm getting rid of this gourd dust just because I don't want to breathe it because I don't have a mask on. Okay, I got a trash can right here. So, yes, it is not toxic. It won't hurt you, but it's definitely an irritant to your sinuses and even to your lungs. You got tiny particles in there. I always wear a mask. So do as I say, not as I do. The only reason today I don't have it on is so that you can understand what I'm saying. So did I bring an eraser? I didn't bring an eraser. How about your, here we go. You know what works really well? This is going to be terrible. The enzymes in your saliva work so much better than water. I'm going to erase it first. There we go. And then what I do is I just go with a wet rag. Baby wipes work well, but some of them have an oil on them, so be careful you don't use those because then your dye doesn't absorb as well as it can. A lot of the cheaper ones, believe it or not, at the dollar store, they work the best because they don't have that extra glycerin on them. So I only drew 4 lines, right? Or did I draw? So the pencil mark's gone. I really like these big ones because more light's going to come through. So here's a couple things that I found in the process of doing these. It's really nice to dye the gourd first and then go back and do your pattern because then these holes on the inside won't have bleed through from the dye. Not a big deal if it does it, but it's very hard, particularly for beginners, because you can't draw on the ink. If I dyed this first and then tried to draw the pattern, you can't get the pencil mark off. And if you don't go exactly where the pencil mark is or you have space in between, that pencil mark's going to show. So what I do when I'm dyeing it, I'll show you to avoid that as much as possible. So there's my front and center hole. Oh, I missed one. Oops. Okay, I think I got all the pencil marks off. Yeah. So I'll take face wipes. Costco has lint-free ones. You get a ton, you get 4 or 6 packages, which I use for my face mostly every day, but also for my gourds. They don't leave the cotton hairs. And what happens is when you're wiping, the hairs get stuck, then you put the ink on and you heat it, and then those hairs are actually embedded into the gourd. So if you're on a budget, you can go to the dollar store and get the cotton ones, but you better make sure before you start any dyeing or sealing, you rub that with a dish towel several times to get the hairs off of it. Okay, with the lint-free ones, you don't have to worry. This is my drinking water. I'll drink it too. So I just go back, get the eraser marks off, and any of the pencil lines that may have shown, okay? Oh, the other thing I did find, I'll share with you as I'm cleaning this, is you don't want the super, super thick gourds. So these that they have chosen and have pre-cut and already, they're in between the thick and the thin, so you can carve. The thicker it is, the harder it is to carve, and they will smoke because you're literally heating as you go through to try and get all. So don't get a super thick gourd. Welburn has the nicest, thickest gourds, but there are times that you want the in-between. You can see the width of these. See this? These are really a piece of cake to do. The littler ones. These are pre-drilled. You can use the little lamp in there. They're great neighbor gifts for the holidays. Okay, so we have that done. We're going to dye it. Waxed plates I use. Don't try styrofoam. Your ink will go right into the plate and you won't have anything on your gourd. It just sucks it right up. Don't use paper, same thing happens. Make sure they're waxed. Okay? So let's see, we will do this guy. I guess we'll do it red. So I'm horrible because I love to mix my colors. The red is just never quite red enough. So this is deep red, which almost has a hint of burgundy to it. But just like anything, when you put a color on a gourd and it already has a base color of this tan, it's not going to be a true red because this is your base color. So I use the darker red for a depth, and then I'll use the apple red, which is really the bright, fun red, and I just mix them and do half and half. There's no right or wrong recipe. If you wanted all that color, you can do it burgundy. A lot of Christmas stuff's burgundy. You can do it, there's another red. There's a apple red. Imperial red is their new color. Love it. I love that color. I've used it on everything. Yes?
Are these what you say you usually wear a mask with when you use?
No. When I'm carving, I wear a mask. If I'm... Oh, no. Okay, I beg your pardon. Let me tell you something that works really nice. Either leave the gourds for the Luminaria natural inside, or you can paint them white. I did a few of them white because the light will reflect better, but what I found is I hate when the rim is white on the inside. In here, I don't like looking at it, so I painted them halfway down the same color as the gourd base, but it's a pain in the butt. I just leave them natural. Okay, you can paint them white. A lot of people do, and that's when I wear my mask outside. So this is the red. Look how pretty that red is. So when you're doing the luminarias, what I was saying, so you don't have a lot of bleed through because you still want that tan color of the hole to show, so your light comes through prettier. I go only surface. I'm going only on the surface. I'm not pressing really hard on this wipe because I don't want it to bleed into the holes. It's no big deal if it does. And of course it did on the ones that I have, so I just took my little micro brush and painted all of them like a crazy lady. But I'm not doing that again. So if you go, see how cute you see all the white holes? Yeah. Don't go hard into the gourd is what I'm trying to say. So if you just go around. Now these inks are very forgiving. You will never have streak marks. If you do like I'm doing, I put it on heavy and then I go back and remove the streak. I put it on heavy. I got to get more ink. And then I go back. I'm proud of myself. I'm actually not getting any bleed through into those holes. So apple red. Now on this gourd, because it's big and because I want it deep, I'm using a lot of ink. Typically, I don't put more than an eyedropper full when I'm painting tiny areas with the micro brushes. But this is a big surface. This is the same wipe that you use for your face. These are Costco's because they're lint free. The thing is, you can get them at CVS, you can get them at Walmart, but they're like $4 a pack. But you get 5 packs for $10, and you know they last. Use what you want for your face and use the rest on the gourd. So you can use a felt square. Those of you that sell, you can go to the yardage store, buy a yard of felt, cut it in little squares like this. I'm lazy. I just buy these. Felt works nice because it won't leave lint either. Now, if you do have streaks, one of my favorite things to do, see that streak? I just make it all go in one direction. When you heat it, you will not see a streak. Sometimes you'll have a gourd. This is a freebie tidbits that is lighter in one area than it is in the other, because obviously it's nature, it grows the way it does, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you have those light areas, but you want a whole even base, I'll just take this, wipe, and I'll go like this, and pat it in very gently. What it does is it gives you a deeper color, it masks any streaks that might be there, and it gives you an even tone when you have those gourds that are lighter in one area and not in the other. You see how I'm doing this? It just makes it a tad bit darker, takes the streaks away, and if this area was lighter than the rest, I would just pat it a whole bunch and make it darker. So that's how you fix that problem. Very gently. If you press too hard, you're going to have a blob of ink. If you do, not a big deal. Take another wipe that's dry and just pat it off. See how pretty that color is? Now this was apple red and deep red together. Sometimes the apple red is more candy colored, more, not as intense is the word I'm looking for. Oh, you know what else works really well for the base? My love, we have any Formula 45 in here? 49, yeah. I'm 65. I'm allowed to make those boo-boos. I got postmenopause dementia here. Formula 49, I love. If you pour it on the rag that you just used, you can. It helps absorb into this raw area that's already sanded, and you save your ink. I hate. My inks last me minimum of 50, 60 gourds at least. So I'll just take the Formula 49, squirt it on the rag, which was totally dry. There was no more ink left on it, and watch this. You can just cover this area. I need a little bit more. I do that all the time. Don't show that, edit that out. I do it all the time. I always, it's terrible. I don't get the ink in my mouth, I just use my mouth. Okay, so the other thing you want to do, I'll wait till I heat set this. Oh, heat tool. I'm so glad I have a helper here. So sorry. So we got the heat tool. So then while we're waiting for the heat tool, I'll do this. I'll take a Q-tip. Again, you get 2,000 of them for $1 at the dollar store. Well worth it. I'm putting a couple drops of the ink here, and I'm going to put a drop of Formula 49. The reason why I like this, it helps the color absorb in raw areas. Otherwise, you use a ton of color just trying to do the rim. So it kind of like lets you use your inks a little bit more. All of these inks have to be heat set. The nice part is, in the olden days, we used to use leather dye. Okay, you didn't have to heat set it, you put it on, it dried. 1 year later, you'd have no color on your gourd because the light in your room, the light, surrounding light, makes the color, because they're alcohol-based, evaporate. Okay, and light I did pieces that I put in a gallery up in La Jolla, and the gallery closed about 8 months later when I went back to pick up my pieces. There's no color on the leaves. They went from green leaves to nothing because they had those lights on them, and they were done with alcohol. I swear by these. That's all I use anymore, because especially if you're selling this to somebody. Let me just, I saw a bald spot that I must have touched, and there's a hole over here. I want to get in. This is permanent. You can put this out in the sun. I do birdhouses. I go back a year later. I hit them with a clear sealer, but all the color's still there. So when you heat these things, for those of you that have never used them before, do not do this. You have to move it and come back to it. You will see it go from shiny to flat. Can you see that? That's how you know it's dry. You can get these, they sell them here, but you can get these anywhere. They're really nice. These Wagners are hard to get, but I tried the other ones. I bought the Martha Stewart and those. They don't last a year. These things, the one I have is 6 years old. And they're not that much. I mean, if you don't have a coupon, you're paying the same price. So you're going to heat set the whole gourd like this. I got a blob of ink there. I wanted to get it off. Keep it moving. And then go back. So what I'll do is I'll go around once because a lot of the heat is retained. And when you come back, it's almost dry, and then you'll just totally dry it. This is the most time-consuming part, believe it or not. There's another spot I missed. It's kind of hard when you're talking and not paying attention to what you're doing. So I'm patting it on so that I don't streak. If I try and wipe it now that it's dry, it will streak because you'll be lifting what was already set. So pat, don't wipe. I'm going to do the rim. The rim will smoke. That's the only way I know that it's actually dry, because you don't get that color change. See the smoke? You know that's dry. Not a big deal. I have a wood burning buddy. They're called burner buddies. It's a little black box they have here, because I sit for anywhere between 7 to 12 hours a day when I'm getting ready for a show and do these straight. I don't want to be breathing any fumes, okay? Especially when you're wood burning, because it's almost as bad as smoking. So I put my burner buddy on. I just flip it on, and they have filters that after a while you can just toss and replace. They're dirt cheap. But do yourself a favor if you're going to do a lot of them. Like I said, invest in the good. The only tools you really need are a really good carver, a really good wood burner, a heat tool, and your wood burning buddy. 4 things. That's all you really need if you're getting started. But I can't stress enough to buy the right thing. You can spend $80 for a Dremel, $40 for the flex shaft attachment. I kid you not, almost every single class I have ever taught, people that come in with a flex shaft Dremel burn up in the middle of the class and they can't finish the class. Those things, they burn out. They're just not designed for long-term use. They're designed for if you're doing a project at home and you want to just do a 1, 2, 3. Not every day. Sometimes you'll have your carver going for an hour, 2, 3, 4 hours at a time if you're taking a carving class. So, don't waste your money. Save it. Buy the one decent tool that you need. So, say that again?
Is there something that you recommend for a drill? Say for myself, I don't want to invest in something that much money for something that I don't know that I'm going to enjoy.
Okay, I can't recommend anything other than you don't have very many things on the market. You have a Dremel, which is fatter than this. You can't do that with this. And they have a flex shaft, which is a long cord that attaches to it, and it has like a pen, almost this wide of a pen. But you still have that same thing. You need 2 hands to hold it in order to carve, and you can't do intricate carving with that. You could do holes, you could do a little bit of stuff, but it doesn't spin at a high enough frequency to let you get any kind of detail.
So that's really early up.
Any of the high-speed carvers, this is like 40,000 RPMs per minute. The Dremel is something like, I don't know, maybe, I couldn't even tell you. I just know I also bought, which was more expensive actually, it was $289 for the Fordham, which is what they have. But then you need to hang it on your workbench. It weighs almost 15 pounds, so you have to have a shepherd's hook to hang it on it. And it has a comfortable handpiece, but you can get the RPMs out of it. But if you're gonna pay $280 for that, you can pay way less for one of these. So what I would recommend is maybe take classes from artists who have the tools available for you to try, to even see if that's something you'd want to do before you spend the money. That's what I would suggest. I can't say don't buy a Dremel because you'll never do gourds again. It's just a headache, and it's just, I'd stand on a corner with a cup begging for change before I buy a Dremel. Just because it takes all the fun out of it. Okay, almost dry. I keep turning it on and off. This wouldn't have taken so long to dry if I didn't do that. Robert, how are we doing on time? Pardon? Okay, so then I can do the next project as well. Just looking for the few areas that I missed. Now, if you need to go over it because you missed a spot, once it's dry, that's when you need to be a little more careful, and I would pat it, not wipe it. Because if you wipe, you're going to lift the base color off. Nothing will take it off except itself. So if you have red ink on it and you wipe it with red ink, you're going to lift some of it. But if you pat it, it won't lift. Okay? There we go. And again, since this is the deeper area that's raw, you'll know it's dry when it smokes. See it? It's no big deal, it's just smoke. But that's why I have my wood burning buddy on, to absorb that smoke out of my face. It sucks it right away from you. You put it here and it brings it that way. Now, when I'm done my drying and my dyeing on every single piece that I do, I seal it with a clear sealer, every one of these. There's a varnish that you can tap on, the Welburn Gourd varnish. It's really nice because you can mix it with your mica powders here and make a paint, but you can also use it to seal. I'm lazy, so I use a Krylon sealer. Do not use a sealer that has UV protection. Even though you think you're doing a good thing, keeping out the sunlight, it changes the base color of all your inks, of all your leather dyes, of all your paints, because it has a yellow tint in it. That's what gives the UV protection. So I just use, I did bring it. Jerry, hand me that Krylon. I like the Krylon better than the other ones. I tried Valspar and all those other ones, but they run. This doesn't run. If you were going to see, I'm not going to do it in here because I don't want to do the fumes. I go outside, hold your gourd away, and spray it this way. Spray it. I spray the whole thing with any clear sealer. You can buy any brand you want, but Krylon I think is my favorite because it doesn't run. I see a light spot right there. See it? I get neurotic, especially if I'm going to leave this here at the gourd farm. I don't want people to think I do shabby work, you know. Oh, look at her. She left all those spots show, you know. There we go. I also like to wipe these bottles before I put the lids on. And I also leave the lid with whatever bottle it goes to, and I'll tell you why. I don't tell you how many times I put the black ink lid on the yellow bottle. How many times I put the green on the red. you know. So I do that. I leave it right where it belongs. This way it goes back on the right one. So now he's all heat set. The last thing we want to do, what I did on these, believe it or not, these are stickers. My niece had all these stickers, and they're nice because, and you have to pay, well, right now, everything Christmas is 50% off Hobby Lobby, so they were $1 a pack, and you get like 40 of them in a pack. But they look like real crystals, and they're on a clear backing, so when you put it on the gourd, it looks like you actually set those crystals on the gourd, and it's just a sticker. I found these really cute ones yesterday. I thought they'd be cute on here. And then I found these snowflakes, and they're on there. So, particularly when you make a boo-boo, if you have an ink blot that won't go away, if you have a piece of the gourd because they're natural and they grow on the ground and they're not always even, you stick a sticker over it. Okay? So, he's done there. Oh, the other things I love are these. They're called brads. And I don't have scissors here either, so. I'm going to have to use my teeth, folks. I'm not going to do it. Here we go. These are brads, and these are nice because you can do one or two things. Sometimes I don't want to stick them in. I'll just cut these little backs off. See that back? Remember the old days when you had those paper things and you did like that? Oh, yeah. So what I do is I take my wonderful drill bits, take a little bitty one, and I'm going to put some of those on. I'm going to put one here, make a little hole. I'm going to put one up here. I'm going to put one on this boo-boo. I'll put one over here. Where's the other one? I'll put one over here. Try and remember how many holes you made. Sometimes you get all done, you're like, oh, I didn't see that hole. I'm terrible. So you can do one or two things. Just stick it in and get your hand in there and bend it. Now that will work real easy on this gourd because this gourd isn't that thick. But if you have a thick gourd, put a dab of hot glue on there. Okay? I'm going to leave my hand in there because it's too hard to get out. I'm going to push it in, and I'm going to bend those. See, now this part's real thick, so what I'll have to do is glue that guy in, and Jerry's going to have to get me the glue gun. These are Hobby Lobby, Joann's, Michael's, any of the craft stores. They're called brads, B-R-A-D-S. They're metal. They have a real pretty finish on them. And like I said, right now, I'm not trying to promote Hobby Lobby, but I'm done with Joann's and Michael's because their prices are twice the price. So even when they're on sale, they're not cheap. These were only $1 a box, and you got 25 of them for $1. And I thought that was a pretty good deal. See, it wasn't real thick there. Oh, there, I got it. This is the one that I got it. Never mind, Jer. I had to do that for nothing.
Is that in the paper crafting section or?
Right now, it's in the Christmas section. But they're typically in the paper crafting because they have all those brads. They have little round, you know, those of you that have done scrapbooking, I don't do scrapbooking, but they're in that section. And I don't look at anything the same anymore at a craft store because it's always like, how am I going to get that on a gourd? Because I started this because I did classes for second graders as a friend. So we did little birdhouses, and you wouldn't believe what these kids did. They were just adorable. But, you know, they're not afraid to try anything new. So let's see. There's one there. There's one there. We need one down here. After you seal it, and I'll tell you why. Once you seal the ink and everything's fine, you put your stickers on. But if you put your stickers on first, some of the red will bleed through the sticker. So if you put white snowflakes on and then you seal it, your snowflakes are going to turn pink because a little bit, always clear seal first. The brads, it doesn't matter. They're not going to bleed. It's any of the stickers because there's an adhesive back and they're paper for the most part, so it'll come through. I never used stickers. I only did it for this project just to show you what your options could be for a real quick Christmas gift. I think I needed one more over here. Is that a phone? And I still have a spot I missed, no matter how hard I try. When we take a break, I'll go out and seal this, and then we'll come back and put the stickers on. Okay, so for the most part, other than sealing it, it's ready. And then you just take the light, now that they have the LEDs, which are wonderful.
Now you're using the small bulb?
This is a small one. Yeah, doesn't really matter because I plugged it in and looked at it, and they're pretty bright. They're really bright. And then there's a little notch for the cord here. And I'm a little crazy because sometimes it doesn't sit flat on your counter. So I just take my drill bit. And I'm going to make the notch just a little bit bigger. Hold on. And then the cord has more room because they're manufactured. See how much more room I have now? So you're going to put this right in here. Voila, your lamp's ready. Oh yeah. Well, I'm going to light them. When we come back, I'm going to have them all lit so you can see all of them. Okay, I want to seal this first. So I'm going to take this out. And I'm going to go outside when we have our break and seal that. And then we'll come back and put the holly leaf on. Okay, so everybody got that? Takeaway, no right or no wrong. 2 size drill bits. Any amount of numbers as long as they're odd going down and odd going across so that you have equidistant with your other. Okay. Do you want to break now, Robert, or would you want me to start the next project?
It's up to our guests.
What would you guys like, a break right now, or do you want me to start into the next one? Want me to keep on going? I'll keep on going. What did they say? One person said break? Am I speaking too loud? Oh, okay. I'm East Coast, so I have a really loud voice. Okay. There we go. Okay, so now this guy I love. So let me see. Let me do this one. He's cute. Yeah, I like this one. So we're going to put him out of the way for right now.
What decided your choice between those two?
Which two? Mostly because I like this soft pattern and I like this high neck because I'm going to cut a neck. See how this is just a flat neck? I'll show you what I'm talking about in just 1 second. Sometimes I'll have gourds that I really want to work on, but I don't know what I want to do. I'll carry them around, put them on my kitchen sink when I'm washing the dishes, watching TV. I'll put it on the dresser and I'll think, what am I going to do with that? And then it'll come to me what to do. So there's this wonderful drill bit that I convinced Welburn to finally carry. Here it is. It's the best. The best. It's just a fine point drill bit. Nobody's using these yet. Nobody. And I just love them. They're hard to find, though. It took me 3 weeks to find it. I'm not giving my secret away. They're going to start carrying them here within the next week. So if you look, can you see it all? Can you all guys see that? Very, very, very pointy. It's almost like an engraving bit. Well, I guess I should do this for your sake. I don't usually do this, but all I'm doing is drawing a squiggly line. on the neck. Now watch how this cuts. You're going to go halfway the first time around just to etch it and get the carving started, and then all the way in the second time around. So watch this guy. I don't want to tell you how many saw blades I broke doing this, because the saw blades are straight. They want to go in a straight line. They don't like curves. The minute you pull it off the surface of the gourd, you snap the blade. You don't have to worry about it with this. So now I'm going to go back around. This is going to be my front right here. If you want deeper grooves, you can go back and say, I want this deeper. I want this deeper. I can't tell you how much I love this bit. So if you want to be a perfectionist, you could take your sandpaper and just sand the rim real smooth. Because when you go to dye it, if it's sanded smooth, it looks so much nicer. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on it, just for the sake of teaching you the technique. There we go. All done. Again, you're going to wear your mask when you do this, okay, guys? I can't say it enough. If you can taste it on your lips, it's in your lungs. Okay? Yeah. So, front and center again. Let me see. See this big blemish? It's the gourd, it's the way it is, but I don't want it to catch the eye, so I'm going to turn it, make it be the back, and I'll do this for the front right here. I mark my front and center. Now on this pattern, there's no right or wrong. I just stuck it in there and made holes, big and small, different shapes wherever I wanted. If anything, I want to go down a little bit this way. Maybe down a little bit this way. And the rest I'm not going to even worry. Okay? Again, using that same bit. Okay? It is so, see how quiet the drill is? Did you hear how loud it was when I cut out the plastic? The thicker the bit and the longer the shank, the louder the Dremel and the little more difficult it is to hold. But this is such a short little bit. It's just, so I'm just going to put it in. No right or wrong. Just make a shape. Go back in. Punch it out. Done. Gonna do a little one. Another little one. A bigger one. Do you see how easy that is carving? Now obviously if you were on a thicker gourd, it'd be a little bit more. You'd probably have to go in first and then go in deeper because you got a thicker area to carve through. But that's these gourds that he chose for the luminarias that are pre-cut, he picked for that reason, so it's kind of nice. They did you don't have to go around tapping and hoping when you get home you got a thin one. I'm doing some up and down, some just a hole, some irregular. So typically I'll put in a couple big ones and then I'll go around and build some little ones around it. Okay? Isn't that cute? There's no right or wrong, like I said. Now, what you don't want to do in this case is make perfect circles, because it'll look silly. If you do by accident, let's say right here, it's too round. Take your drill bit and make it irregular. If you want perfect circles, that's fine, go for it. I don't particularly like them. Say what? Okay, the problem with the filigree bit, now I don't use it a lot, so I have to be honest with you. I don't like the fact that it heats up. And then what happens is this, when it's hot, this part gets burned and it turns it dark. So you can do the cutout, but then no, you're going to have to go in and paint there. The goal in this particular case for the Luminaria is to have it light enough so when the light comes through, you can see it better. The darker it is in here, the less light's going to reflect. So yes, you can definitely use your filigree bit. Okay, so there's one swirl. Now we'll come in from the other side. You can see I'm not doing anything different. I do one direction, one another, one big, one small. Is that bothering you? Okay. So I have some small and some medium ones. See them? Now I'll go back in and put a couple of the tinier ones just to fill in the spot. I promise you there's no drill bit you can do this with. I am barely touching this gourd with this. I so wish I could hand this over to you and let you guys try it. I'd rather you get the experience than me doing it. Well, the problem is I want to leave this for them. This is really fun. I did this all in hearts for Valentine's Day, and they were really pretty. I did it last year. You can do any shape you want, but as you can see, it's all freehand. You don't have to plan it out. Look at that, how pretty. So, I'm just going to go across the back a little bit. Since this is going to be a gourd lamp, I'm going to do some going down the back, so then when the light bulb's in, light will come out the whole thing. The nice part is with this, if you cut the hole too small, you can go back and enlarge it. If you cut the wrong shape, you can go back in and edit it to be a really neat shape. Oh, this is going to be cool. I'm going to come down here a little. Cool. You can turn this any way you want to be the front. It wouldn't matter. Okay, so because I let the gourd dictate the shape it was going to be, I have this beautiful blank space right here. What I normally would do is when I'm at home, and can I grab that? I would take a piece of dichroic glass to complement whatever color I dye it, Dremel it out, and recess it right in. I have all these beautiful pieces of glass. So this guy I just put in here today.
What kind of glass was it?
Dichroic. It's handmade. You can usually find them at glass stores or at gem shows, or I found mine at, actually one of the gourd artists used to make it and sell it, Leah Adams. I knew her for years, and I bought so many pieces from her because I didn't know at the time they were so cheap. They were like $1 or $2 a piece. Now they're like $4 or $5 a piece. But I found that one, I found at the Harvest Festival at Del Mar, and the woman made thumbtacks out of her scraps. And they were 15 tacks for $10. But I just took it off the backing and just still used it. So that was the deal. I bought a couple packs. I have enough to last me a lifetime. But see, whenever I find something really different, like I said, I don't look at anything the same. Typically, I will buy a bunch of it and put it away. Now you wonder why my hands look like this? I don't really care. So the other thing I do, with toothbrush works really well, but I found these at the dollar store, 2 metal and 1 soft, 3 for $1, to clean up all these holes. I get in here and clean up most of the holes. Toothbrush works good, but this is a little longer than a toothbrush, so you can get in here. Now, I do that, and of course, like I said, I'm doing this for demonstration purposes, but if I was doing this to sell, I have these long files. I go in there and I file the whole thing. I file all of it, 1, 2, 3, just like that. See how it's all going away? Watch. All those scragglies. I just hand file all of it. These are jewelry files. Again, swap meet. So I clean all the holes up. I mean, you want it to look nice when you're done. You don't want that eyesore to be there. I have one of these at home. I should have brought it that's longer and it has a handle, and it really works nice. This just happened to be in my drill bit thing. And it's a little bit of a process, but it's well worth the look. See the difference from one side to the other? Look, see all this? It all comes out. You can even do this after you dye it and seal it as well. My problem is once I start something, I can't put it down. Okay. Then you can take your brush again. You can go inside. That gets a lot of it out too. There we go. Okay, what color to dye it? I think I'll do it. I only had 2 lines I put on this. The center. And that swirly line to show me where I wanted the pattern to go. Believe it or not, these look really pretty if you do them in black. I love the black. I use their black ink a lot. Okay. Did you ever bring a glove in? Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. So, this color was teal. And then I put a little bit of the new blue that they have in the new packets. I love it. Because most of the blues are too dark. They're almost navy. But they have this new one. It's called blue linen. And if you mix the blue linen with any of the darker blues, you get a really pretty blue. And then this, inside each, I was a little neurotic, like I said. Inside each hole, the band inside the hole, I used the blue metallic. It's called, what's the blue metallic called? The dark blue one. Marine blue, or it's got a sea, ocean blue. Ocean blue. I mixed the ocean blue with the blue linen, and it made this really pretty half metallic, half paint, and I painted every little hole. But I love the way it looked when I was done because it was a two-tone effect. You got the tail on the outside and the blue on the rim. But I love this new linen, this blue linen. I've been using it a lot. So let's see. We have aqua. And we have teal. The teal is really not teal. The teal's more greenish. So I use the teal and the aqua. And you know, if I don't mix enough, it doesn't matter. You go back in, put a few drops of teal, put a few drops of aqua, and you still get the same color on the outside. I don't want to open this, but I would love to put the blue linen in there. I don't want to open the whole pack just for that. Oh, and then I'll put a drop of the Formula 49 in there because it makes your inks go a little bit further and it lightens it up just a smidgen. I just don't want it real dark. So let's see what color we get. It's still very blue. So I'm going to put some green in it because I want it to be more teal-y. And a little more teal. I'm just having fun. I usually do 2 or 3 colors. Okay? Yeah, that's better. It's all on the same rag, so it doesn't matter. Oh, pretty. Pretty, pretty. Again, when you're doing this, if you haven't dyed it first and then did your pattern, whereas we did our pattern first, go over the surface very gently. This is a gorgeous color green. Oh my God, I love it.
So at home, you would dye it all first?
Yes, I do because I don't have to demonstrate on how to do it. I know what I'm doing here. For the most part. I fooled you, didn't I? This is so pretty. This is a gorgeous emerald color. Oh, I love it. Now let's see if we can duplicate it. You can. So I did teal. Stuck in some aqua, right? I stuck in some deep green and some Formula 49. Here's my recipe for mistake. No. It'll be what it'll be. It's so pretty. Looks the same to me. A little darker. Oh, yeah. This is so pretty, this color. Oh, I love it. I love this color. It was, aqua is very navy blue. Okay, which is why I like the blue linen. The blue linen is a very light blue, it's almost gray. But if you mix the blue linen with the aqua, you get a really pretty shade of blue. That's the blue linen and the teal. It dilutes it down to a softer shade of blue. Now, if you want a deep, dark blue, the aqua is really pretty. But I always like to, I don't ever do the same thing twice. I will have 150, 160 pieces of Gourd art in my booth, and there won't be two the same. I flat out refuse. I get bored if I do. And if I don't like it, then I don't want to do it. This is going to be stunning.
What green was that again?
Deep green. I forgot I had it, believe it or not, and I just found it the other day, and I've used it on the last 3 pieces. I'm like, why didn't I use this before? Deep green, it was deep green, teal, and aqua. Don't be afraid. If you don't have the right shade that you want, don't be afraid to mix. You can also put the metallics in here. I've done that before. You can put the acrylics. They have the, these are the inks, but they have the acrylics. You can mix the acrylics with the inks too, and you get a half paint. The acrylics are beautiful, but they're more milky. They're more paint-like. But I mix the acrylics with the ink, and then I get a happy medium. And I can usually get the color that I really want. So back to the heat fun part, guys. This is really heavy, so it's going to take a while to dry, but this is absolutely the most beautiful emerald green. I was going for blue. And it's always such a wonderful surprise because you're like, I didn't intend to do that, but then you end up liking it even more. Now, it'd be really pretty if you took the metallic paint and painted the inside of all these lighter green. It would look really pretty. And all you would do is take the micro brush, the gray micro brushes, and just dab it in there and just go around. It's real easy. If we come back after break, I may just do that, just to show you how pretty it would look. Oh my word, this is so, so pretty. I love this color. Ted, what do you think about that drill bit? Isn't it nice? Don't you think it'll give you a load off your back just trying to get all those necks cut and whatnot? And you can get some really nice detail with it. I sat down this summer and I thought, you know, I have 30, 40 bits I've never used before. I'm going to try them and see what they do. I've had it for 2 years. I finally sat down and did it. And what a pleasant surprise that was. Because in my mind, I thought it was an engraving bit. And I thought, well, I don't need to write my name. But it really does write nicely with it. But it's not an engraving bit. It's just a fine point. So look at that. We did 2 gourds in less than 2 hours. 2 complete projects in less than 2 hours. The key is having the right tools. I can't say it enough. I know it sounds like I'm pushing them, but I can't tell you how important, because I learned the hard way. I have 7 drills at home, 6 that I never use. This is the only one I use. I have circular saws, I have band saws, jig saws, scroll saws, all of them. All the one I use is the Proxon that they have here, the little one, because those blades are better and they last longer. But for the most part now, I do all my cutting with this. Unless I'm doing a really intricate interlocking pattern, like where the lid fits the bottom of the bowl, I use that for nearly all my cutting. So, questions, anyone? Yes?
What is in the 49?
So it dilutes it down without affecting the color. That's why I put it in to extend the color, to lighten it a little bit. So if you have the blue, which is the aqua, and it's too dark, if you mix the Formula 40 line, it'll make it lighter. The other thing is, this is wonderful when you pick your gourds out that are covered in mud and you get home and you scrub them clean, you realize it has sunburn on it, and it's that raw looking area. When you put the ink on it, it will suck that color darker than the rest of the gourd. But if you prep the gourd with this first, it won't suck the color as much. The other secret with those sunburn gourds, if you have one of those little orbital sanders, sand your gourd first where it's sunburned. That compacts the skin, and then the dye will be taken more evenly as well. So compact it and put this on it first, heat set it after you put it on, then apply your ink. So. Yes?
Can you use acrylics? Just acrylics, not...
Absolutely. You mean acrylic paints? Absolutely. The problem that I find, like I said, I didn't have an artistic bone in my body, but with classes you can develop your own style. I cannot paint to save my life. I have streaks that never go away. I can put 9 layers of white on it to make it white enough, and there's streaks. I hate it. I know there's tricks that you're supposed to be able to wipe or a wet, damp rag. It doesn't. I've given up. When I use my inks, I get all the colors I want, and I don't have streak marks. The acrylic paints, the acrylic inks that they have here, I want to show you something. Let me grab this. It's all right? Let me grab this to show you this. And I'll show you why I say I won't ever paint again. If you take the white, the pure white, and let's take eggplant. Let me take this, the blue, and I'll take transparent rosewood. Okay? Now, you know, you go to the store, you buy 5 shades of beige, you find 20 shades of red. It's not the right color. So let's start with the azure. This is a transparent acrylic ink, okay? So it's more paint-like I said, and it's not totally transparent like the inks. So I'm going to put a dab of the blue on there. And I'm going to take a dab of this rosewood, put it over here. And then I'm going to take the white. Oop. Always shake first. So here's the white. I'm going to take some of the blue and some of the white. I have sky blue, right? This is navy blue, real dark. If I take some of it, I can make that color. If I just take a little dab, I have 3 shades, right? If I take more white, I now have 4 shades. You can do this and make 50 shades of blue with the white. The same thing. It's so pretty. If you take this rosewood, you got like a burgundy. Now it's like a milky brown, darker brown. You can take it all the way down to a beige. So, put more white in it. Look at how pretty that shade is. You can make any shade of any color that you want simply by adding the white to any of the primary colors. So, yeah, you can buy acrylic paint. The nice part about this, when you put this on a gourd, no streaks. No streaks. These are Dianne proof. You know, the idiot proof paints? These are for Dianne. These are made strictly for me so that I didn't have streaks because I try. Oh, your name's Dianne. These were made for us. Seriously, so that you can't muck it up. You can mix these. If I take the aqua, put some of the paint, the ink back into the acrylic. Look how pretty. It gives it a really deep. So I constantly mix my acrylics with the inks. I mix them with the metallics, the already pre-made. I mix them with the micro powders. You can mix them with the varnish and make a paint out of it. So the nice part is you only have to buy one color to get 50 shades instead of 5 or 6, 10 bottles at Michael's, and they don't have streaks. They're streak proof, so I love those. Any other questions? I can't believe we got this done in this short period of time. Just wonderful. Yeah.
When you said that you inset the glass,
Uh-huh.
do you put blue behind it?
So what I will do is I'll take my Dremel bit, I'll take that glass, and I'll lay it on the gourd right here. I'll take my pencil and trace around the outside, okay? Then I Dremel out that shape about a 1/4 inch down, and then I use hot glue. You can use jewelry glue, but hot glue works just as fine. I like the hot glue because I'll tell you a secret with the hot glue when you're inlaying stones. When you press and it oozes, if you have it just a smidgen bigger than it was supposed to be, the glue will ooze around and you can dye it with the paint the same color as the stone and it looks like it was custom made. So I have ways to fix every mistake you can possibly make because I've made every mistake and then some. But I am queen of repairing boo-boos. Don't buy Harbor Freight bits. They're made in China and they break, they burn. They're and I'll tell you why. I said twice I've done it. You see how these are threaded? How they have threads on them? Half the threads are missing. So you'll be cutting, and some of it will carve, and the others I'm like, what? And then it burns because there's no threads there. I hate Harbor Freight. That everybody comes to my class is just starting. They buy their... They want to get a cordless drill, so they'll buy a cordless drill there. Well, it doesn't have enough power to put a screw in a piece of 2x4. Yeah, and they think they're going to sit and do power carving with it, you know, because they didn't have the cord. So again, it's like I said, if you're serious about it and you know you're going to be doing it for a while, save your money and buy the one piece of equipment you really need.